Oh, hi. You want to hear a bookish joke? Last night I was reading a book on Mount Everest, but unfortunately, it left me on a cliffhanger.
Yes, yes. Tell it again.
I'll be here all week.
Yep, that's me.
Hello, beautiful bookish people. My name is Hannah, and today we're doing the Out of My Comforts book tag, and it was created by the lovely Emma Books. I'll link her down in the description, but I'll be surprised if you haven't heard of her because she's an amazing booktuber. And I was tagged by two of my favorite people in the community, Vendi from Caught Between Pages and Katie from A Sea of Tomes, so I'll definitely link them both in the description. So the whole idea about this book tag is you have to create a rule for yourself. Take the genre that you usually talk most about and eliminate it, so you give different answers to these questions. So I'm going to be a brave soul and eliminate the YA genre. It's not that amazing, Emma did it too, but anywho, I think we should just jump on into the questions. Alright, the first question is a book that is the exception when it comes to genre or element in a book you don't typically like. Now, this book has been literally everywhere. I am by no means the first person to talk about it. It was on a lot of favorite lists last year. It was people's new favorite books, and now, having read it,
I understand.
and that book is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I'll be surprised if you haven't heard what this book is about, but just in case, I'll give you a quick summary. It's essentially a frame story, which means it's told in flashbacks. And we follow this girl named Monique, and she is a journalist for a magazine. And Evelyn Hugo, who is this very famous 1950s movie star, has recruited her to write a puff piece. But when we come to find out, it's not just a puff piece. She wants her to write her biography. There's certain elements that I think are spoiled, especially like in the summary. So I would just go into it blind because it's honestly, I think it's worth the hype. There's like a part in the beginning where Monique is like doing research and she correlates her movies to like something she sees in the present, and she talks about how male or female we all like to be teased. And so as you're reading it, you get the sensation that Evelyn Hugo is teasing you to keep going, and after every chapter you just want to keep reading. I think what 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo does super well is like incorporate commentary on today's society through conversation, which is done super seamlessly and well done. Anywho, I'm here. I'm super late to the game, but 5 out of 5 stars. So question number 2 is a book that you enjoy from a genre you previously had stigma about. So I will be the first to tell you, I am not a sci-fi person. There are very few sci-fi books that like I can like get through, and one of those I think is a good example for this question. C.S. Lewis and the Space Trilogy. C.S. Lewis is very well known for his Chronicles of Narnia, obviously, but you kind of get that same allegory, but in space. What I think C.S. Lewis obviously does really well is incorporates those like elements of reality, but like in space. If you read this, I wouldn't tell you it's like the best thing ever, because it is kind of silly. I think you have to go into it with not like a modern interpretation of sci-fi, because like in the first book, I think our main protagonist is doing a college campus tour, and then he takes a nap and he's just for some reason on a spaceship to Mars. So is that the best explanation? No. But is it fun? Yes. So question number 3 is a book you actually didn't know was out of your comfort zone until you started reading it. So last week I uploaded a video called Librarians Pick My TBR, and in that video a librarian recommended me Lolita. My little English major self didn't know what Lolita was about. So when I started reading about what it was telling, it's
Very shocking.
to say the least. If you don't know, like me. It's about this older gentleman who kind of desires young girls. He kind of marries this woman just so that he can get closer to her daughter. But the way it's written is so undeniably beautiful. And I think if you look at it with like those kind of eyes and to like try to analyze like why we're talking about this subject matter, it reminds me of how I think in society people often think that they can sniff out serial killers, or we often think like, oh, I would know he's a bad person. You don't truly know someone's dark self until they choose to reveal it. So Humford is...
He's an English major.
He's sophisticated, he's charming, he is a good-looking guy. On the outside, he's just like the kind of what people want. Kind of what the book tries to do with its elevated language and poetic nature, kind of tries to hide the underlying message, and it does it in such an amazing way. It'll be talking so beautifully about this dark subject matter. So there's a point in the book where Lolita and Humford go on a road trip, and he describes America so well that you're like, gosh, this sounds beautiful. And then if you just look at the text, like not even a little deeper, you just look at it, you realize what he's describing is like musty hotels and rundown gas stations.
And it like messes with your mind, man.
It's done in just a fantastic way that by the end, I was crying for a pedophile. And that's insane. Brings a new meaning to daddy issues, doesn't it? Question number 4 is pick a friend or booktuber that motivates you to pick up books that you might not normally be interested in, and what is a book that that friend has encouraged you to pick up. When I saw this question, my immediate thought was Katie from A Sea of Tomes, because I just love to hear her talk about fantasy, and specifically Robin Hobb. And I promise, Katie, someday I will read Robin Hobb. I just want to know what makes you so passionate about this author. Another person is obviously my friend Rihanna. Every time I go into a bookstore, I feel like I'm buying a new book, and I love that. And so another person I think is like really good with recommendations is like Cindy from Read with Cindy. I think she has like a really good balance of like reading all of our YA classes while simultaneously reading stuff that she's interested in. So she's actually the reason I read Crucial Conversation, and I have been trying to incorporate some of the tactics into my own life, because who doesn't want to get better at having conversations, especially like hard ones. So question number 5 is a book that is out of your comfort zone that you would like to read. And so for this one, I'm going to choose a manga, and that's Orange. I have never read a manga, and I'm trying to kind of ease my way into the genre. I just kind of want to see what people are talking about and why they love it so much. I started watching Death Note. So I actually started reading this last night, and from my understanding, it's about this girl named Naho who got a letter from her future self, and in telling her to like do all these things that she regrets from her past life. So far, it's super easy to follow. I'm into it. This is also one of the things I'm reading for the Asian readathon that's happening this month. So question number 6 is a book or genre so out of what you normally read that you'll probably never get to it, or another chance. I had to think about this one for a while because it's hard to say like certain books I would never give a chance. What I came to the conclusion was that I don't think I'll read
Super big history books.
And what I'm referencing are like biographies, and my dad, he is a super big history buff, that he's always wanting me to read like biographies of certain generals from World War II or a book on the French Revolution, which is fine. He loves them. And another thing that I kind of have like a mixed relationship with is short stories. I find it really hard to find a short story that I actually like. The ones that I like, I want them to be fleshed out more and be like an actual 200-page novel rather than 50 pages. And the ones that I don't like, I'm glad they're over. So it's very hard to like find a good short story that I'm like, I understand why you are the way you are. And that concludes the video, so thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Keep reading and all that jazz. Well, I kind of want to do that over again, so let's do it. Mom, I can hear you! One of the things I'm reading